Good morning, class. I think you're all able to hear me properly. Good morning, everyone. Let me just confirm my voice and then I shall begin. Today, I am completing the December current affairs. Today, being the sixth of the six-part series on December current affairs. Right, right. I have been able to hear myself. So, on that note, let me begin straight away. So जैसा मैंने कहा था आप लोगों को दिसंबर ये आखिरी क्लास है आज the proof in the pudding is that I will be sharing with you important days and dates of this month. You know, in the last class, every time I come up with the important days and dates. Right, I'll just turn on the AC. Give me a moment. Yeah, so the fan causes a lot of noise, so that's why. Anyway, let's continue now. So this is a new batch which has come up. So do feel free to join this. Some excellent faculty members, my colleagues, Mr. Ankur Tomar, Mr. Ankit Sharma, and Mr. Vinod Shankaran. So do feel free to join us here. I've shared the number at the bottom of the screen with all of you. Feel free to call us at these numbers. Right. So I'm starting with the December current affairs. Right. So first of all, the first news that I would like to make, this was actually decided while Donald Trump was the president, but the final appointment came up. Even in December, he was officially the president, although Joe Biden was already president-elect. You know, in US, the system is that once a president is elected, it takes another almost 2 months for the handover process to take place. So by now, it was known that Joe Biden is the president, but Donald Trump was the acting president for this period. Now, Donald Trump had already made this announcement. Now, this was finally confirmed. So, USA has five major divisions in its military. India has three, right? Army, Air Force, and Navy. We also have a lot of paramilitary bodies, but that's separate. Even US has them. But US has, apart from the Army, Air Force, and Navy, they also have Marines. Marines are those who fight both on land and water. So, it's a combination of Navy and the Army. Unlike India, which faces quite a bit of threat on its land borders, US faces almost no threat in the north. That's Canada. In the south, there's Mexico. With Mexico, the problem has been of illegal migration. It is not there has not been an all-out confrontation for the last 170 odd years. ठीक है, since Texas was acquired by the US. Texas used to be part of Mexico. Right. Uh, Texas was independent for a few years as well, beach mein. I think California was also acquired, Nevada, New Mexico, couple of states. Anyways, that's separate. USA faces most of its threats because USA is obviously being the global superpower, hyperpower, as some say. They send a lot of its troops to foreign countries. So a lot of these invasions are from aircraft carriers. US has about 15 odd aircraft carriers. Aircraft carriers, you understand, humongous semi-cities. These are ships where you have runway for up to 50 fighter jets. So वहां से planes take off, and of course ships, the smaller ships, boats. So these guys make landfall. So that is Marines. That's the fourth body. Um the fifth one is the Space Force. So I'll just write it down here on the chat window. Five divisions. Sorry. Five divisions in the US military. This is Army, Air Force, Navy, the Marines, and we have the Space Force. Space Force is more of a surveillance force. I know this sounds more like a science fiction movie, but yes, US does have a Space Force unit which does the surveillance from outer space, as you may imagine. ठीक है. Now one of these bodies, the first time ever in any of these five bodies, you have a black or an Afro-American who will be the chief of staff. Chief of staff is each of these divisions, they have a head. So his name is General Charles Brown. This is a massive achievement in a country where some of you may not completely understand it, because obviously we tend to think of the West as a more equitable place, but in the US, black white issues have been a lot. Blacks have often faced the brunt, and they're still economically quite backward. So, General Charles Brown Jr., kudos to him. That's a huge achievement. Right, let's move ahead. The Adani Green Energy Limited has won the first of its kind solar agreement from the Solar Energy Corporation of India. SECI is a government organization. It's a PSU, which obviously does most of the manufacturing itself, but this time they have outsourced it to a private company, to the Adani. This is an increasingly common trend. We are seeing the private sector roped in places where the government earlier had a monopoly. So this is basically to improve the efficiency, because it is understood that private companies are generally more efficient with a lot of things. ठीक है चलिए. Mm, so that is the Adani Group, of course. Meanwhile, Anmol Narang, sticking with the US, has made history by becoming the first observant Sikh to graduate from the prestigious US Military Academy at West Point. You know, just like in India, we have the Indian Military Academy. In the UK, you have Sandhurst in London. Similarly, you have the West Point in New York, which is the USA's main military training school, you could say. Okay, let's continue. Today's a slightly longer PPT. It's a bit more than 30 slides. Usually I finish at around 30-31. आज 33-34 ऐसा कुछ है. So slightly longer. My class might just go for 5 minutes more than usual. But I have another class at 12. That is on the app. This one on YouTube, that will be on the app. So do watch out for that as well. Right, let's continue. So Corobot is the first of its kind internet controlled robo. So it's a robo controlled by the internet. This is to address the needs of hospitals treating COVID-19 patients. This has been developed by an engineer in Thane. Have you guys heard of this city, Thane? Can somebody tell me where is this? Good morning, Abhishek. Great to have you here. You had wanted me to take care of all the current affairs, so I'm doing that. From Monday, I'm going to begin a fairly current month, which is the month of March. सो मंडे को हम मार्च करेंगे, मार्च महीना करेंगे. We'll start that. That'll be a most likely a 4-part series. I'm getting a message on the Gradeup app. Just give me a moment. Right, so I've just informed my team. There was some confusion regarding the app. Okay, guys, let's continue then. So, Thane, you did not tell me where is it. Yes, welcome S. Sharika, T. Sharika. Welcome to the class. None of you told me where is Thane. So, Thane, let me tell you, it is in Mumbai. Mm, ठीक है, it is near Mumbai. It is in Maharashtra. It is a suburb of Mumbai. And I'll tell you which context you've all heard of this place. I'm sure you've heard of this place in the context of Um, the first ever railway line in India, Bombay to Thane, 1854. आपने उसी context पे सुना होगा. Lights went off. Please don't worry. The internet is connected to the UPS, so no problem. ठीक है. The AC won't work. पंखा चलेगा तो थोड़ा आवाज आता है. Just ignore that. Anyway, there's the Max Planck Institute for Solar System Research. This is located in Göttingen. Göttingen is a city in Germany. It has some umlauts. Umlauts are two dots on top of O, but I couldn't type that here on my system. But O के ऊपर दो dots है, उनको umlaut बोलते हैं. ठीक है. So this is reported a project that has found an Earth-like and probably rocky planet. This orbits around a star called Kepler 160. ठीक है. So Kepler 160 is in our Milky Way galaxy itself. This is the name of the planet. Usually you are not asked these questions planet wise, but मैं just inform करना चाहता हूँ कि ये जो planet है, it's called a rocky planet because the main base is full of rocks. Right. So let's move ahead to the next one. This is in Germany. ठीक है. भूलना मत. Göttingen in Germany. Okay, the format remains the same. Whenever there's a standalone topic, I take it separately, and whenever there's a combination of things that I do, under a miscellaneous December current affairs segment. So QS is a very famous organization internationally, highly respected. So they have this body called. They come up with these rankings each year on the best of colleges. So this is what they have got up. This is the name of the body, Quacquarelli Simons. That's the name in English. I think I haven't changed the settings. I should have taken it to the right hand side. Just give me a moment, guys. Otherwise, आप लोगों को दिखेगा नहीं सही से. Just give me one moment, please. I don't know how I missed this. Right. Okay, so QS stands for Quacquarelli Simons, is one of the most reliable organizations for studies and surveys on global academic institutions. Right? The institute, Indian Institute, so they have actually listed the world's top 200, and India's highest ranked institute is 172nd. That is the IIT in Bombay. And there are two other Indian universities, which is the IISc Bengaluru and the IIT in Delhi, which have also made it to the top 200. IISc Bengaluru is 185th, stands for the Indian Institute of Science, and IIT Delhi is 193rd. Last year, IISc Bengaluru was the highest ranked Indian university, so they have now slipped slightly, but nonetheless, these three remain in the top 200. In fact, last year there were only two institutions in the top 200. This year, the IIT Delhi has also come up. These are 2020 rankings. 2021 ranking will be out this year. Last year थोड़ा delay हुआ था for the obvious reasons. This year, hopefully by June, July, results could be out. Okay, so Massachusetts Institute of Technology, this is in the state of Massachusetts in USA. This is ranked global #1. This is highly impressive, as you may understand. Right, it is Mumbai के पास है ये ठाणे, that you are right about. Okay, now I'm going to so this was global rankings. Now I want to talk about India specific rankings. I've already told you which are the top three, but this is a separate ranking. This is released. This is not QS. वो पिछला वाला QS था. This is released by the Union Education Minister, the HRD Ministry, now known as the Education Ministry. So please make a change. This is by Shri Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank. Nishank is his pen name. He is also a poet. He's a former Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. IIT Madras is retains the first position in overall ranking. Though QS does not rate them in the top 200, but the Indian domestic ranking for the second consecutive year they retain का मतलब है last year भी number one थे. ठीक है. So overall ranking as well as in engineering. Obviously overall में होंगे तो अपने category में तो of course होंगे engineering में. ठीक है. It's framed under the NIRF, which is the National Institutional Rankings Framework. So पिछला था QS का, ये है NIRF का. और guys प्लीज NIRF रैंकिंग बहुत जरूरी है आपके लिए. कोई भी कॉलेज में आपको एडमिशन के लिए इंटरव्यू मिले, दे ऑफन आस्क यू why Christ, why Symbiosis, why IIMs may not ask that, but in case anybody is preparing for MBA, any of the colleges, so you guys often say बहुत बढ़िया फैकल्टी है, बहुत बढ़िया स्टूडेंट्स. अब ये तो एक जेनेरिक टर्म हुआ ना यार. वो आंसर आप, जो आंसर आप क्राइस्ट में दे रहे हो, जो आप सिम्बी में दे रहे हो, जो आप ओपी जिंदल में दे रहे हो, इट कैनॉट बी द सेम. इट कैनॉट बी, सम पॉइंट्स विल बी द सेम, but there has to be something specific. So you can always say, if you have NIRF rankings, if they participate, everybody does not participate, you can always say that on NIRF you got the seventh best college ranking. That is ultimate this thing. If they haven't participated in NIRF, you can quote some other reliable source like maybe Careers 360. Okay, let's move ahead. So ISC Bengaluru and JNU, these are the top two ranked universities in the country. Miranda House in Delhi has been ranked as the best degree college. Sorry, Abhishek, मैं समझा नहीं. IHM in the top 200? No, no, not at all. With due respect, I mean IHM is a separate, it's in a separate category, right? These things are mostly for. Okay, let's move ahead. So top 200, only three colleges, only the very best have made it. Right, continuing with it. So Miranda House number one among degree colleges, ISC Bengaluru, JNU, the number two top two among the universities, while IIT Madras is best in engineering and overall as well. Now let's look at each of the categories. Medical, it is AIMS in Delhi, which is the best. For law, I know many of your law aspirants who are attending this class. There's the National Law School in Bengaluru, NLSIU. Then we have the Jamia Hamdard in Delhi, which has been ranked number one for pharmacy. The IIT Kharagpur in West Bengal, best for architecture. And the Maulana Azad Institute for Dental Sciences, it is the best for, also in Delhi, it is best for the dental category. And finally, you have the management category. So the three IIMs, A, B, and C, Ahmedabad, Bengaluru, and Calcutta, these are the best three for management. I hope things are clear now. Okay, so under each of the categories, I have shown you the best three performers. Right, let's continue further then. Okay, so December current affairs, back to miscellaneous content. Okay, now Mr. Dr. Ratan Lal, he's an eminent Indian American. Indian American ka matlab hai, he's an American citizen of Indian origin. Please don't confuse with American Indian, because that's a completely separate term. Okay, so the World Food Prize he has been awarded. That's one of the most prestigious awards worldwide. This is for developing a soil-centric approach. Not just developed it, he's also mainstreamed it. जिसका मतलब है कि पहले it was on the fringes. Now it is considered one of the main things. ठीक है. So this is for increasing the food production and and also to conserve the natural resources. This also helps mitigate क्लाइमेट चेंज. मिटिगेट का मतलब है उसको मैनेज करना, उसके अगेंस्ट लड़ना. ठीक है, तो वर्ल्ड फूड प्राइज बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. ये प्लीज आप देख लेना, कभी भी किसी इंडियन को मिले या इंडियन ओरिजिन पर्सन को मिले, इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस. So this is awarded by the Food and Agricultural Organization. I've spoken to you earlier about the FAO, headquartered in Rome, Meanwhile, this is the beauty of current affairs classes. We have so much of diverse content. So there's a new book which has been released by famous writer Shobha De. It's called The Lockdown Liaisons Book 2. It is an e-book. So it was released as an e-book by her and her publication team. Right, let's continue just a bit on the FAO. I know I've discussed with you earlier, but एक बार मैं जल्दी से दिखा दूं आप लोगों को. Food and Agricultural Organization headquarters are in Rome, Italy, founded on the 16th of October 1945, and that is why 16th October is called the World Food Day. And its Director General is Mr. Q Dongyu from China. So Mr. Ramesh Chand from the Niti Aayog, he had been shortlisted for the final list, but eventually he could not make it. Chaliye, let's move ahead. Okay, some more of the December current affairs. FAO का full form है Food and Agricultural Organization. Abhishek, Food and Agricultural Organization. I see you've retracted the message now that I've shared with you the full form, but that's all right. So there's a Chinese head to it, Mr. Q Dongyu. एक बार देख लीजिए. ठीक है. Is this clear now, Abhishek? I'll move ahead to the next slide, huh? Okay, चलिए. Now, Beyonce Knowles, she's an American singer. Have you heard of her? उनका नाम सुना है? उनको एक ह्यूमैनिटेरियन अवार्ड मिलेगा 20th edition of the BET Awards. Now, what is BET? It is Black Entertainment Television. It's not a separate TV channel per se, but this is basically for Afro Americans or blacks in America, Black Americans. उनके लिए अवार्ड कैटेगरी है. सो ये 20th एडिशन हुआ 2020 में. इस साल 21st होगा. तो उसमें शी इज गॉट अ ह्यूमैनिटेरियन अवार्ड बिकॉज ऑफ हर कंट्रीब्यूशन. Meanwhile, Pratishtha Deveshwar, she's a DU student. She's the first wheelchair-bound Indian who is going to study at the Oxford University. So kudos to her, fighting all the odds and making it to one of the greatest universities in the world. Right. ठीक है. I hope you have written this down. Abhishek, I hope I'm not going too fast. ठीक है. आपको लिखने का टाइम मिल रहा होगा. Okay, I hope I'm giving enough time. I'll continue then. So now this is an important question. Now there is this body called SIPRI, which is a Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. According to their study, India has 150 nuclear warheads, which means 150 weapons with nuclear capability. So India was the sole candidate, meanwhile, for a non-permanent seat from the Asia Pacific category from the 2021-22 term. So basically, if you look at the structure of the UN, there's the Security Council, which has got 5 permanent members. I'll share that list with you. They are known as the P5 countries, and apart from that, I'll just write it down here. They're known as the P5 countries. Let me see if you can answer those. What are those? स्क्रीनशॉट नहीं चलेगा अभिषेक, आप लिखिए, बिकॉज लिखने से काफी लर्निंग होती है. सो आई ऑलवेज प्रेफर, यू डोंट हैव टू राइट फुल दिस थिंग, बट एटलीस्ट बुलेट पॉइंट्स टेक डाउन. यू डोंट हैव टू राइट एवरीथिंग, यू कीप टेकिंग स्क्रीनशॉट्स, बट जहां जहां इंपॉर्टेंट कुछ है मैं आपको स्ट्रांगली अर्ज करूंगा, प्लीज आप लिखिए. Right. So there are P5 countries that are the permanent members. Apart from that, you have 10 non-permanent members who have who join for a 2-year period. Now that 2-year period could be further extended, no problem. So India has been a member of the UNSC in the past, and India actually wants a permanent position there. Okay. So, according to the UNCTAD, which is the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development report, India is the world's ninth largest recipient of FDI. Now, that is truly impressive. Foreign direct investment. Again, if you look at the size of India's economy, we are the seventh largest economy in the world by real value. So, I think ninth is not something completely unexpected. Okay, let's look at some of the recent trends when it comes to FDI or foreign direct investments. FDI, is foreign direct investment. The Secretary General of the UNCTAD is Mr. Mukisa Kituyi. He is from Kenya. And in fact, UNCTAD is headquartered also in Nairobi, which is in. Uh, no, 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 sorry, that is a different organization. Sorry, I'm mistaken. UNCTAD is in Europe. Anyway, so India had a total of $51 billion for 2019. 2020 का एग्जैक्ट डिटेल अभी तक रिलीज नहीं हुआ है, वो इस साल जून तक होगा। तो हमारे पास अभी 2019 का डेटा है, उसमें इट वाज $51 बिलियन, which is a significant improvement, which is about, how should I put it, almost a 20% improvement from the 42 billion category in 2018. So pretty much substantial improvement. Yes. Abhishek, आपने मुझे बताया नहीं which are the P5 countries. I had given you time. If you don't know, then let me know. Then I will share with you. But if you don't tell me your problems, I can't share. ठीक है, 2019 however was a pretty uh, was a not very good year when it comes to international trade. In fact, the total global figures for the generation of FDI was less than a trillion for the first time since 2015. Now, why was this? That's because of a general global economic downturn. That is one reason, but there's another reason. If you look at the global politics right now, the world is full of, if you look at some of the most dominant nations, now with US having a change of guard, things could go different. But generally, the last couple of years, it is conservatives who have been leaders of different countries. So look at Mr. Donald Trump, Boris Johnson, Mr. Erdogan in Turkey. There's Shinzo Abe in Japan, who's not exactly conservative, but to quite an extent. Brazil has Mr. Jair Bolsonaro. Israel has Mr. Netanyahu. A lot of small European countries as well, like Hungary, for example, or Poland, they have also gone very much inward looking, nationalistic. So they've all had this feeling that international trade does not always benefit them. So we should be self reliant. India has had a similar philosophy lately, the Atmanirbhar program. So what I'm trying to say is generally there has been a lukewarm response towards international trade for the last couple of years, towards FDIs. India's FDI has not been affected. We continue to do pretty well, but globally, generally, there's been a distrust. Now, with USA having a change in guard, that could herald a massive change again, because obviously USA is considered the leader of the free world. Okay, so global rank one remains USA at a staggering $251 billion. Look at China at second, a massive decline to 140 billion only. Right, so there is a huge difference between first and second. Sharika, you have stopped participating. Do let me know if you want to say something. Okay, now let's move to the World Competitiveness Index. So again, one of the indexes. I've told you many times that indexes are very important. They can be especially handy for group discussions and essay writing or WAT competitions. Okay. So this is released by the Institute for Management Development. It's a B school that operates in both Geneva and Paris. Okay. So IMD centers located in Geneva. Geneva is in Switzerland, and Paris, of course, is in France. Which are the P5 countries? Since you did not tell me, let me write it down for you. USA, UK, France. मैंने जानबूझ के PPT में लिखा नहीं था. Was assuming you'll tell me, but none of you did. So anyway, and China. So USA, UK, France, Russia, and China. These are the five. Basically, the five winners of the Second World War, if I see it that way. Okay, so India's rank is 43rd, which is not bad at all. Rank 1 is Singapore. So competitiveness का मतलब है इकोनॉमी जो है, इंडस्ट्री जो है, कितना competitive है, कितना competition है देश के अंदर between. So what kind of a healthy atmosphere there is for competition. ठीक है चलिए done with that index. Now I'm moving on to more of miscellaneous content for December. Okay, so Mr. Karan Billy Moria, he is of Indian origin, and in the UK, he has been selected as the new president of the CBI, the Confederation of British Industry. I'm sure you've heard of CII, Confederation of Indian Industries. So, similarly, or rather, you can say the original one was the CBI in the UK. So, India has a CII, which is an inspiration from there. So representative body, this includes 1.9 lakh UK companies or 190,000. So it employs nearly 7 million people. So he has been, so it's a matter of great prestige for us that a person of Indian origin, even though he's not our citizen, but we can still appropriate, nothing wrong in that. When it's good things, we can always appropriate, right? Right. So 190,000 companies. So he has been elected as the head. Okay, meanwhile in Croatia, have you heard of this country? Where is this country located? Would somebody, sorry, क्या हो गया? Yeah, highlighter I wanted to see. Yeah, has any of you heard of this country? If anybody watches football, I'm sure, or if you watch the last World Cup, I'm sure you would have heard of this miraculous country. They reached the World Cup final with a population of what, 4 to 5 million people, taking on mighty France in the final. And I think they had defeated another giant, England, along the way. Okay, so tens of millions of bees have died from a suspected case of pesticide poisoning. Now, why is that significant here? Bees, please understand, they are the lifeblood behind all kinds of flowers. So every flower, every fruit on the planet, it is ultimately क्या कहते हैं उसको pollinated by bees. So if bees die out, then the entire ecosystem is very badly affected. Okay, now I want to talk about this thing called the WEF Tech Pioneers. WEF stands for the World Economic Forum. I'll just write it down for you guys. World Economic Forum. Okay, this is the WEF. Now, two Indian firms, one is Zest Money, the other is Tell Apps. They have been figured in this list of tech pioneers. Pioneer matlab somebody who starts something, and like in Indian cinema, we say that Dilip Kumar or V. Shantaram, Guru Dutt ji, or people like I'm forgetting the names, but let's say Meena Kumari. These people are considered the pioneers of Hindi cinema. They were the ones who were right at the beginning. Mr. S.D. Burman. In various fields. So there are these two Indian companies have been listed among the tech pioneers. So these are 100 entities which are future headline makers addressing global challenges, global issues with cutting edge technology. So, in fact, this is a very important list to feature because some of the earlier companies which are featured in this on this list, they have gone on to achieve great success. So, some of the past selections include present household names such as Spotify. The owner of Spotify is being linked with a takeover of Arsenal Football Club. Right. There's also Kickstarter, Airbnb, Mozilla, Mozilla Firefox. So many of us have used Google. How much bigger can you be? Twitter and even Wikimedia. These have all been listed on. They have all found a place on this list in the past. So you can very well imagine the influence that this body probably has. So hopefully some of these Indian companies will also go on to achieve great success in the subsequent period. Right. Some more of the miscellaneous content. Welcome, Shrey. Great to have you here. Okay, okay, no problem, Abhishek. Good to have you here as well. Right. Meanwhile, Jammu and Kashmir, the state has been conferred with three prestigious Deen Dayal Upadhyay Sashakti-Karan Puraskar Awards for the outstanding contribution to the socio-economic development of the Gram Panchayats across the Union Territory. ठीक है, सो दीनदयाल उपाध्याय ये सशक्तिकरण ये एक नया अवार्ड है जो कि ग्राम पंचायतों के लिए है, तो ये अवार्ड मिला है. जम्मू एंड कश्मीर also had its district council elections around this period in December, January, so that was also a crucial part. So three of the villages in three of the Gram Panchayats in Jammu and Kashmir, Rathal and Badakna, which are in the Rajouri area. Rajouri is in western Kashmir, western Jammu and Kashmir. There's also Meej, which is in Pulwama. These three have been included as part of this. Meanwhile, NASA's next Mars rover, this is going to honor all the medical workers on the front lines of the coronavirus battle around the world. So the idea is that the next, whenever next they send a rover aircraft which is specific to the Mars, can't be sent anywhere else. So this basically will be um, so this will next carry the names of all the frontline workers in the COVID crisis. Right, let's continue with some more of the points. Yes, hi Swastik, great to have you here. Good to see you. So quite a few of my regular students have now joined back. Now with my health properly recovered, I am taking regular classes. I have another class today at 12 p.m. So do watch out for that as well, because although that one is on the app. So guys, please download the Gradeup app from the Google Play Store. The class will only be there, but it's a free session, so you don't need to enroll for that per se. Right, let's continue. So India has sent a 75-member tri-service contingent to participate in the military parade in Moscow, Russia, on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of the victory of the Second World War. Infosys, meanwhile, has joined a climate pledge. Now, this is very important. First point, थोड़ा सा भी पुराना हो गया because we're going to have it again. तो इसको आप अभी के लिए छोड़ सकते हो. But ये point जो है ये बहुत ही important है. Climate pledge क्या है? Basically, it's like a pledge. I think आपने स्कूल में भी लिया होगा for various things. Pledge में क्या होता है? Companies they take a pledge that we are going to do X, Y, Z for the betterment of the planet. So it's a commitment. It was founded by a fellow internet giant, the Amazon, and also from the environment firm. It's an NGO, which is the Global Optimism. So all this has been so Global Optimism and Amazon they together. Amazon main funder for this because you need a lot of funds for this. Global Optimism is the NGO which is actually performing this task. This is to ensure that the Paris Agreement goals are firmly met. Right, let's continue. You can take a look at this slide. I'll just shut the door because I'm staying alone. There's been somebody just. Right, let's continue. So I want to talk about the AIIB, which stands for the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. So one of the most crucial developments, it's sort of with China's rise, China uh, wants to play the global game, but within its own rules. It wants to rewrite the global rules of engagement. So this is headquartered in China. They have joint headquarters in Beijing and Shanghai. Beijing is the political capital. Shanghai is the financial capital of China. So AIB is it's a intranational bank. It is not a retail bank where you and I can be account holders. It is a bank where the members are nation states. तो इसका क्या मतलब है कि only countries can be members of this thing, right? So that's why there is a political angle to it as well. It's not like a Citibank or a Goldman Sachs, which is into private and serving customers. वैसा नहीं है इनका model. ठीक है, so multilateral development bank with nation states as members. And now this is very crucial. Now we can have this as a GD topic someday. That do you think AIIB can go on to replace the World Bank and the IMF as the global, you know, regulators, business regulators? 102 members right now. So you can see there are lots of buyers to it. ठीक है, तो ऐसा नहीं कि there are just a few countries. At 12 will be a generic session, Swastik. That will be on how to prepare for GK. So that is fine, even if it's not a content based class, but yes, it'll be very useful for newcomers. Since Swastik, you've been regular to this class. With due respect, I don't know how much useful it will be. I mean, it will be, but just see how much. But for the new people, it will be very important, really crucial. Okay, Swastik. Okay, let's move ahead. So they have also proposed for both BRI and OBOR. So let us just understand what exactly are BRI and OBOR. Can somebody please tell me the full form of these two terms? BRI is one and OBOR is another. Would somebody like to share with me the full form for these two? I'll give you some time for this. Swastik, I think you will be able to answer. BRI and OBOR. Let me see if you can give me the full forms of these. Very good, excellent, Swastik. BRI stands for the Belt and Road Initiative. And what is OBOR? Belt and Road Initiative. So it's a road bringing back the old Silk Route. Historically, there was a Silk Route which connected Eastern Europe to China via Central Asia. Russia, this is China, and between you have Central Asia. It also had branches towards Azerbaijan, Iran, towards even Southern Europe. So yeah, the main thing was of course transferring silk, but now of course, there are many other things as well, and now there is said to be more. Okay, so it connects China to Eastern Europe via Central Asia. So here again you can see the same route. Russia is basically Eastern Europe. Okay, OBOR is one belt, one road. Excellent. Very good, Swastik. One belt, one road is OBOR. Now, the AIIB is set to give India a $750 million loan. This is to help strengthen its response to the adverse impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on millions of poor and vulnerable households. ठीक है? So at this time we were also having, not this time, this December, so it was past the peak, but we did have last year in April, May, June, a terrible migrant labor crisis in April especially. So that's where this has become truly critical. Right, let's do some more of the miscellaneous content. Okay, इंडिया का पहला सोलर पावर्ड फेरी आया है. फेरी का मतलब है जो it is like it is, you can say it's a steamer, except it doesn't run on steam of energy. So it runs on water, and it doesn't, it's not very big in size but not very small either, not like a boat, bigger than a boat, smaller than a ship, but it's like a steamer. Like in around Kolkata on the Hooghly River, you have a lot of these steamers which run. So this is of course solar powered. That is where things are slightly different. This is being operated in Kerala, and this is won a very important award internationally. It's the famous Gustav Trove Award, which is for excellence in electric boats and boating. Gustav Trove Award, as the name suggests, it has a sort of French connection. It's actually awarded from Canada. Canada has a French-speaking region, so somewhat from there. ठीक है, Swastik? Okay. Okay, India's average temperature has risen by around. Some of you might wonder, ये December में ये क्यों data दे रहे हैं? But that is because summer का data, it often takes time to collate everything, right? So, and of course now we are into the next summer, so maybe we can need to be prepared. So actually 2018 का data है, because the entire study takes a lot of time, not just a few months but years in fact. So overall average temperature in the last 117 years has risen by around zero point 0.7 degrees Celsius. And there is a projection the frequency of summer heat waves uh, over India will continue this year. This is a report by the IITM, which is the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology. It's a very much respected institute based in Pune, Maharashtra. ठीक है, Swastik? Any more questions? Do let me know, Swastik. So this is the body that does a lot of the climate projections as well in India, and a lot of the studies as well. IMD is different. IMD is Indian Meteorological Department. वो day to day काम करता है. This is more for the long term trends and projections. So a slight difference in these approaches. So I've told you about the UN Security Council. So India will serve as the president of this thing. This was for the month of August. Now, I told you these are the five permanent members of the UNSC. Meanwhile, astronomers have discovered a cosmic baby. It's the youngest known magnetar that is 240 years old, which is very young. बस 240 साल का है. So, if you look at the universe in context, it is actually a baby. That's why we call it a cosmic baby. So, magnetar is a neutron star with an extremely powerful magnetic field. Neutron मतलब neutron वाला side is stronger. ठीक है? It's a very powerful magnetic field. So, want to continue? There's this thing called the ILAB set up by India, and this was the WHO which helped us in creating this. So, it's a Geneva-based WHO which inaugurated India's first ILAB, or infectious diseases diagnostic. Diagnostic मतलब investigate करना, पता लगाना what exactly is the problem. So the first, this is for COVID-19 testing. Urban areas में big cities में to quite an extent you are having COVID testing, but rural areas या inaccessible remote areas जहाँ पे लोग बहुत कम है, या jungles है, forest है, you got mountains, वहाँ पे testing is getting very difficult. So उसके लिए this has been set up specially. It was launched by the Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, and this will use these two methods. One is the RT-PCR. I hope you know the full form of the RT-PCR: reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction. reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction. The other is the ELISA, which is the enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. You guys can write down the full forms, please. I'll request Abhishek, no screenshot business here. Please write down the full form of these two terms. I'll wait as long as is needed. ठीक है Abhishek, give me a confirmation once you have taken it down. ठीक है हो गया. Let me know once you are done with this. Okay, very good Swastik, good. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. Let's see what who are the collaborators for the ILAB. So these are the three bodies which are working on this. Six bodies actually. मैंने अलग अलग से दिखाया because the first three are government, the next three are private. So DBT is the Department of Biotechnology. We've got the MST, which is the Ministry of Science and Technology, and this is specific Andhra Pradesh MedTech zone because Andhra Pradesh state is working specially on this thing. And there are three private companies: Trans Asia, Scient Infra, and there's also Kalyani Clean Tech. Kalyani, of course, part of a very big group. They also have a division which works on clean and renewable energy. So they are also helping out on this thing. Right, this is the last topic for today before I wrap up the month with the usual dose of important days and dates for this month. ठीक है. तो आपको मालूम है you've already attended my classes for October, November and August. 3 months I've taken. I'm starting March from Monday. ठीक है. So do watch out for my session on Monday. Starting with March, I'll also do the पुराने महीने. So I'll do September as well. So simultaneously March or September चलेगा. So Swiss Bank Money Index 2020. Okay, so this is released by the SNB or the Swiss National Bank, which is the central bank of Switzerland. Now, why is this important? Basically, you need to understand that Switzerland is a country. I'm sure some of you may have wondered at times that इतना सारा जो black money वगैरह का issue रहता है, why do we always accuse Switzerland? Why do we always say, there's some safe account in Switzerland? That's because Switzerland is a country. It was founded on the basis of banking. Banks and bankers get special immunity in Switzerland which they don't get anywhere else. ठीक है. तो स्विट्जरलैंड में कुछ भी आप पैसा डालो उस पे कोई भी चेकिंग नहीं होती. देयर लॉट्स ऑफ स्लीजी क्राइम थ्रिलर्स जहां पे कोई डेड बॉडी को आपने अंदर डाल दिया और वो फॉर द नेक्स्ट 100 years nobody checks. So maybe that's a slight exaggeration, I don't know, but again it may not be an exaggeration. Switzerland में once you get that key और आपने बैंक में डाल दिया, no questions asked. ठीक है. तो दैट इज वाई स्विट्जरलैंड में बहुत सारा ये काला धन जाता है. अब जरूरी नहीं कि सारा पैसा जो स्विट्जरलैंड में वो काला है, जरूरी नहीं है, बट द assumption इज दैट मोस्ट ऑफ इट मस्ट बी ब्लैक मनी. ठीक है. सो दैट इज वेयर थिंग्स नीड टू बी पुट इनटू कॉन्टेक्स्ट. So the National Bank, the Central Bank of Switzerland, which is similar to the RBI in India or the Fed Reserve in the US or the ECB for the Eurozone, that basically Switzerland is not part of the Eurozone. They have their own currency, the Swiss franc. In fact, Switzerland is not even a member of the European Union. That's because Switzerland has always maintained this tract of neutrality. In fact, you'll be shocked to hear Switzerland did not even join the United Nations until 1999, as late as 1999. That's because Switzerland was how shall I put it? even though lots of UN bodies were headquartered in Switzerland, but the countries always maintained neutrality. Even Adolf Hitler did not invade Switzerland. They've not had a war in the last 500 years. So India has moved down three places to rank in terms of money parked by the citizen enterprises. So we are at rank 677. याद रखना इस रैंकिंग में जितने नीचे होंगे उतनी अच्छी बात है क्योंकि the assumption is that the most of the money is black money. तो अगर हम नीचे की तरफ है that means there is less amount of black money right now which is flushing out to Switzerland. So again, I put it in single quotes because, as I said, all of it is not black money, but this is merely an indication because the central bank releases figures for which country is the origin for all this money. So, India is 77th, and we account for only 0.6% of the total amount. We know that there's a lot of corruption in our country, but when it comes to money flooding into Swiss banks, it's a minuscule figure. It's 0.6%. I think a lot of Indian corrupt rich guys they go to Hong Kong or London. They prefer Hong Kong, London, maybe even Dubai, maybe even Singapore rather than Switzerland. So that could explain the reason for this low tally. Rank one is United Kingdom. Again, you might be shocked to see this, but the UK has this reputation for being very much a favorable country to rich people. So all kinds of rich people they find refuge, especially in the city of London. Some of you may have wondered that every time that an Indian escapes a financial fugitive, a Nirav Modi or a Lalit Modi or a Vijay Malia, Mehul Choksi, why is it that they always go to London? That's because London has special immunity rights. So again, the English Premier League for football is another very good indicator. So many rich guys, so many of these Russian oligarchs, these Arab sheikhs who've invested, American, investment bankers who've invested in these teams. That's, because London has this favorable investment climate. Okay, so UK is number one on this list. Might surprise a lot of people. Right, so I'm now going to do the important days and dates in December. So let's start. The first one is on the 1st of December itself. Good to start on a chronological basis. 1st December is World AIDS Day. That is the day on which we commemorate AIDS, one of the largest killers, rampant killers, especially on the continent of Africa. Can somebody share with me the full form of AIDS? मुझे जरा एड्स का फुल फॉर्म कोई लिख के दीजिए चैट विंडो पे. Full form of AIDS, please. ओके तब तक बाकी करते हैं. 2nd December is National Pollution Control Day. And that day is also the International Day for the abolition of slavery. Slavery was a huge problem in the 17th and 18th and the 19th century. Have you guys heard of the African slave trade? So now, of course, it's we are past the peak era of slavery, but you still have millions of people worldwide who are virtually there for all practical purposes. They are slaves. In Africa, you have a lot of these Arabic countries in north, like in Libya. There's a market for black African slaves, and even in India, there are stories of people who work practically as slaves, which is working for free because they are sort of remitting their parents' debt, which their parents or grandparents has taken. So it is through generations. This works. Things are much lesser now than they used to be. I mean, things are better now, but nonetheless, there still is a bit of it. So do let me know if you know about the African slave trade. It was a triangular trade involving the European countries, West African countries. You had the West Indies, where you had a lot of these slaves transported, and the USA, of course. The Arabs also played a very important role. They were the middlemen, if I may. They were the ones who would get the slaves from interior Africa and transport them to the market towns and the coastal regions to sell it to the Europeans and the Americans. 3rd of December is the World Day of the Handicapped. Of course, lots of handicapped people now in very good senior positions. 4th December is Indian Navy Day, very important day for all Indians. And 5th December is International Volunteer Day, a day when all volunteers have become such a critical cog now in this COVID-19 fight, of course. ठीक है, अभी तक मेरे पास नहीं आया है एड्स का फुल फॉर्म। आप गूगल चेक करके लिख दीजिए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। ओके, 7th December is Armed Forces Flag Day. It's the first time that the armed forces, I think in 1949, took up the flag for the flag marching event. Same day, 7th December, is the International Civil Aviation Day. It is also the day when when USA was invaded by Japan and USA entered the Second World War. The Pearl Harbor incident took place 8th of December. USA declared war on Germany, Japan, and Italy, the three Axis powers. 9th of December, there was the International Anti-Corruption Day. So important for our day. 10th of for our country. 10th of December in 1948, the Human Rights Declaration was signed, which is why this day is commemorated as the Human Rights Day. The same one day later, 11th December is International Mountain Day, a day to celebrate the tourism and other features. You know, mountains, they give us so much, you know, because all the water, ultimately, most of the water in at least the North Indian rivers comes from the mountains. They also are a natural protection against foreign invasions. 14th of December is National Energy Conservation Day. ठीक है, again, so important in this day and age. Welcome, Elisa. Great to have you here. Elisa, I think it's your first class with me, if I'm not wrong. Okay, now this has got to be my one of my favorite days in this month. 15th of December is International Tea Day. I am a huge lover of tea. I visited Darjeeling last year, you know, and this is like being in heaven for a tea lover. So yes, good day for us. 16th December is Vijay Divas. That is the day when Bangladesh was liberated, or East Pakistan was liberated with the help of Indian forces, primarily Indian forces, and the country of Bangladesh was created. 18th of December is the Minority Rights Day in India, you know, for all the minority religions, of course. And the same day is International Migrants Day. You know, there are more than 50 million people right now who are migrants to other places. Many migrants go for a positive purpose, which is when they get a good job or for college, university, etc. And there are lots of migrants who go for because they're forced, because their homes have been destroyed. Recently, we saw that ghastly attack on Gaza in Palestine, where the Israeli forces stormed the this thing, and we keep seeing these things. You know, we had the horrible migrant labor crisis around this time, slightly earlier last year as well. 19th December, I had discussed this event with you. It is the Liberation Day of Goa, because 18th of December, Indian Armed Forces invaded the Portuguese colony of Goa because Goa wanted to join India, and 19th Goa joined India. So Goa actually celebrates two Independence Days. One is 15th August with the rest of the country. Another is 19th of December, which is Goa specific. That was in 1961 when the Portuguese left India or left Goa. 20th December is International Human Solidarity Day. All kinds of human beings, they rise up in solidarity. Right, one last slide. 22nd December is the birthday of Mr. Ramanujan, one of the greatest mathematicians from India. So that day is commemorated as National Mathematics Day. One day later is the National Farmers Day or Kisan Divas. Please note down, 23rd December is the birthday of Chaudhry Charan Singh. Chaudhry Charan Singh. 24th December is National Consumer Rights Day. 25th December is, so this is the day when the Consumer Rights Protection Act was implemented in 1986. So this year saw the 35th edition. This year the 36th will take place. 25th December, we all know, is Christmas Day, but it is also the birthday of one of the great stalwarts from this country, former Prime Minister Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who led us through the dark days of the Kargil War. So Atal Bihari Vajpayee's birthday, so that day is commemorated as National Good Governance Day. And finally, to end the year of 2020, Next class we start with 2021. So 31st December is New Year's Eve. Okay, fair enough. Let's move ahead. I'm done with the content for today. I'll keep it open for a couple of minutes in case you have any questions. This is the phone number 96500529004. This is present on every slide at the bottom. We also have 93195999244, which is the other one. And of course, we are also there on WhatsApp. So this is the other number you can note down, all of you. Okay. We also have this thing, this query. So 93544999530. You can send us a query on WhatsApp. We know that many of you are more comfortable on WhatsApp. We're also there on YouTube. Many of you watched my session on YouTube, so do press the bell icon so that you may receive the notifications for all the classes. We're also there on Telegram. नीचे description में दिया हुआ है details, तो please आप नीचे description देख लीजिए. टेलीग्राम ग्रुप में हमारे बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग डिस्कशंस होते हैं, तो वो आप ट्रैक कर सकते हैं. यू कैन पार्टिसिपेट देयर एज वेल. आपको मालूम है हमारा टैगलाइन सही प्रेप है तो लाइफ सेट है. दैट इज इंडीड आवर मोटो एंड सो ट्रू दैट इज, isn't it, Elisa and Swastik and the others like Shrey and Abhishek? Okay, we are also there on the Google Play Store, तो आप please download कीजिए हमें, and then our app, and then you can practice topic-wise quizzes, and you can also keep attending the live classes. So I'm pretty much done with the content for today. Keeping it open for a couple of minutes in case you guys have any questions, and then I'll just wrap it up. Just 1 minute, I'll keep it on because I can't see too many live participants. Right. I don't suppose there are too many questions. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you so much, guys. Wonderful interacting with you all. 12 o'clock, there's another session, so do watch out for that. Thank you so much. Then take care.